turn to say the pledge. All right. I call this meeting of the Chippewa County Board of Commissioners to order. First order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Kinsella, will you start us off, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And will the clerk take roll call attendance, please?
Commissioner Cooper.
Here.
Commissioner Kinsella.
Here.
Commissioner McLean.
Here.
Commissioner Postula. And Chairman Shackleton.
I'm here, and we have one absence, but have a quorum. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
I'd move approval of the agenda.
Support.
Motion made and supported to accept and approve the agenda as presented. Any discussion? All in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed vote nay. Motion carries. Correspondence received in the clerk's office is on page 1. And
I'd like to make a motion that the correspondence received in the clerk's office be reviewed and forwarded to the appropriate departments for action.
Support.
motion made and supported that the correspondence be forwarded as appropriate. Is there discussion? All in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed vote nay. Motion carries. Approval of the county board minutes. We have minutes from the April 14th meeting, and that is on page 2 of the packets this month.
I'd move approval of the minutes, and with a compliment to the clerk on the way she handled the public comment, the extent of the work that she did there.
Okay.
I'll support.
We have a motion by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Kinsella, that the minutes of the April 14th meeting be accepted. Is there discussion? All in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed vote nay. Motion carries. We move to public comments. Anybody from the public would like to address the commission? This is your opportunity. I'll call again for public comments. Anybody would like to speak? Last chance, public comments. Okay, we declare the public comment period closed and we move to old business. We don't have anything itemized. Anything else that we need under there? Apparently not. So we'll move to the administrator's report. Administrator German, page 17 in your packets.
Yes, you see the various monthly reports, Veterans Affairs, Animal Control, War Memorial Hospital, Sheriff's Department, and Public Defender. Also, there's an update on the State of Emergency Disaster Declaration extensions that Chairman Shackleton signed. For your information, there's a resolution from Huron County that is opposing a underground nuclear waste facility approximately, I believe it's within a mile of the shoreline. And you might take that up if you so feel inclined at Legislative and Natural Resources. Also, the Eastern UP Regional Planning, as we discussed a bit in Finance, is reapplying for its grant that was not funded last year on the CGAP. And the last note I'll make is that early this morning, the binding arbitration agreement with the FOPLC for language verification on a scheduling and vacation issue at 911 has been solved without going to binding arbitration. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. We will move to the standing committee reports. Personnel, Equalization, Health and Social Services is Commissioner Kinsella, and you have a report for us, sir.
I do. A regular meeting of the Chippewa County Board of Commissioners Personnel Equalization, Health and Social Services Committee was held on Wednesday, April 30th, at the Chippewa County Courthouse in Sault Ste. Marie. I called the meeting to order at 11 a.m. with a quorum present. The members present were Commissioners McLean, Pastula, and Kinsella. There were no members absent. Others present were Jim German, County Administrator, Mike Bittner, Undersheriff, and Sharon Kennedy from the Equalization Department. We didn't have any additions or deletions to the agenda, and there were no public there, so no public comments. Went through the agenda items, which the number one was prosecutor hire, and the prosecutor notified the committee he had hired Jillian Sadler as the new assistant prosecutor. After some short discussion, it was moved by Commissioner Pastula, supported by Commissioner McLean, to approve the hiring of Jillian Sadler as the new assistant prosecutor. On a voice vote, that motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Kinsella, supported by Commissioner McLean. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay.
Nay.
Motion carries with one nay.
I'll move on to friend of court hire. The friend of the court notified the committee that it had hired Kelly Goldenbogen as the new legal secretary. It was moved by Commissioner Pastula, supported by Commissioner McLean, to approve the hiring by the FOC of Kelly Goldenbogen for the position of legal secretary. On a voice vote, that motion carried, and I'll move that.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Kinsella, supported by Commissioner McLean. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
The maintenance resignation and hire was discussed. Mr. German noted Mick Gillott had notified the county of his intent to retire on May 30th. The county advertised for the position, interviewed and hired Ethan Anderson on a part-time basis at 25 hours a week. It was moved by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Pastula, to accept the resignation letter of Mick Gillott. And on a voice vote, that motion carried, and I would move that.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Kinsella, supported by Commissioner McLean. Is there discussion? I'd just like to mention we should certainly make a nice resolution and appreciation for his years. He's a great guy, done a great job for the county.
And we do have one for you to sign.
Perfect.
And next, it was moved by
I'm
Commissioner.
sorry, I didn't call for the vote on that one
Okay.
yet. Let's see, we have a motion made, it's on the floor properly.
Yes.
All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Yeah, sorry, Scott. It was moved by Commissioner Pastula, supported by Commissioner McLean, to hire Ethan Anderson as a part-time maintenance at 25 to 29 hours a week. On a voice vote, that motion carried, and I'll move that.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Kinsella, supported by Commissioner McLean. Is there discussion? Commissioner Cooper.
A couple years ago, when we were discussing renovating this building and putting $2.5 million in it, and one of the arguments was that we were going to save $100,000 a year, or potentially $100,000 a year, by having everybody in just two buildings and not operating three buildings. That was the theory there. One of the arguments was there'd be a return on investment. Now it's a $2.5 million project. We're going to save $100,000 a year, so it would have took 25 years to return that investment. So that's not a real good rate of return, quite frankly. And now we have an opportunity to cut our staff down to one and potentially save some of that money that we haven't realized. And if we hire this part-time guy, we're not going to, we're not going to be realizing any of that, I don't think. And so I think this is a time to look at not filling that position and maybe trying to save that money that we said we would, that $100,000 a year. And we're not going to do that by hiring this part-time fellow. I think it's a mistake, and I think we should look at if it's for the lawn or whatever, we get contract some of that stuff out. We should start privatizing or contracting some of that stuff out and not having full-time or employees. I know it's only a part-time position, but I'm going to guarantee you this, that within 2 years it'll be a full-time position. We've seen it happen in the accounts payable. We hired we lost somebody there. We hired a part-timer. We all patted ourselves on the back through austerity measures. We're saving money, and within 6 months we that to be a full-time position. So this is just, again, I don't think we should start down this road, and I don't think we should fill that position.
Okay, anyone else? Administrator German?
That position was talked about during the savings of when we were to sell the annex, and that it would be part of the savings. But looking at the situation over the past couple of years, and I don't know that the whole commission entirely said we would eliminate a full-time position. We're eliminating the benefits from that position. We're eliminating the wage by approximately $5 an hour from that position. There are some problems with contracting out employees to come in, and I'll give you an example. We've recently had one person off with a heart or knee problem. We have other people that take vacations, and you can't just bring somebody in willy-nilly like to fill some of those positions. I believe each person has a talent. Brian, to substitute what he does in the jail with a contractor, the money would be extensive. I know for certain that I've talked to a number of department heads who feel a little bit uncomfortable with people who don't work for the county coming in to clean their offices for security reasons. So in essence, we are saving quite a bit of money here, and I think it was a logical way to go. And we have not always, we eliminated a building inspector. We haven't brought that building inspector back. We needed some help in IT, and we filled that by keeping what we did at part-time. So I think we've made some really good moves. Thank you.
Yes. Anyone else? Commissioner McLean?
I guess in looking this over, the idea that you have people take vacation, you have people get sick. It's better to have somebody waiting in the wings, I guess, or able to fill in those situations than to try to find somebody or to try to run these two buildings with just one person, as that would be if we had somebody get sick or take a vacation. It just doesn't seem to be a reasonable way to run it, efficient way.
Okay.
I
Go ahead, Tom. Go ahead.
No, I mean, that was the argument a couple years ago, that we were gonna throw austerity, we were gonna cut that, save that, and all of a sudden, when it comes time that we can actually do that, that's another, then all of a sudden, it's not a good idea anymore, so.
You mean, in this position?
Decision based on that information.
You know, and I'm glad you brought up this issue, because we always need to be looking hard at every place we can cut. I think most local governments are in the same boat, but I think the cost being cut from this going from full-time to part-time is probably more than half the cost of the employee. I'm guessing moving from a full-time to a part-time, we're saving $25,000 a year.
With a family plan, that'd be about $15,000 on the health insurance, and I believe the wage is $5 an hour approximately, plus your retirements and FICA and everything else.
So round numbers, good guess, about $25,000 a year that we're cutting. That was already budgeted for too this year, so that's kind of nice. That helps a little bit. So I understand both arguments, and I think I was just glad to see that nobody was pushing to fill this position with another full-timer and maintain status quo. I think cutting it is the right direction, and I've been convinced that we do need that position to be at least a part-time, so I'll be voting for it as well. Anyone else? Give your last word. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay.
Nay.
Motion carries one nay.
Okay, so we're at equalization, resignation, and request. Christine Liedergerber notified the committee of her intent to resign for another job. Sharon Kennedy asked if she could stay on a month, just a month later than her resignation. Then her resignation letter said, to help with tax rolls at her same rate of pay, but only 20 hours a week. The resignation would then take place in late June. She You would have no benefits during this transition period. Mr. German also noted that July 1 or July 1st, the measurement problem would begin for the Affordable Health Care Act, and no part-time employees would be able to work over 29 hours per week. Under Sheriff Bittner said this would be a big problem for the jail. It was moved by Commissioner Pastula, supported by Commissioner McLean, to accept the resignation of Christine Ledergerber no later than July 1st and allow her to work at her current wage with no benefits at no more than 20 hours a week until the transition period of the tax rolls were complete. On a voice vote, that motion carried, and I'll move that.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Kinsella, supported by Commissioner McLean. Is there discussion? I just point out, I think this is a good chance to just mention again that, you know, the undersheriff mentioned there's gonna be a problem with the part-time hours, and I think the sheriff is still here, and I think we all recognize it, Sheriff, that this is a problem, but it's not a problem we made. It's the Affordable Health Care Act that's creating problems all over the country. And we don't have the budget to provide health insurance to all these part-time employees in the jail. And I don't know exactly what you're gonna do to address it and how you're gonna address it, but I sure hope you're working to address it. Because I know it's a problem, and I know many businesses in the community it's a problem for. Anyone else on the issue before us? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Next, it was moved by Commissioner McLean, seconded by Commissioner Pastula to adjourn the meeting. On a voice vote, that motion carried, and I'll move for the acceptance of this report.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Kinsella, supported by Commissioner McLean to accept the agenda, or the minutes rather, of the meeting. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. We move to our second committee report, item B. This is Building Grounds, Jail, Legislative, Natural Resources, and IT. Commissioner McLean.
The regular meeting of the Chippewa County Board of Commissioners, Building, Grounds, Jail, and Jail, Legislative and Natural Resources and Information Technology Committee was held on Wednesday, April 30th, 2014 at the Chippewa County Courthouse in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. Chairman McLean called the meeting to order at 11:45 with a quorum present. Those present were Don McLean, George Kinsella, and Ted Pastula. Members absent, none. Others present, Jim German, Kelly Church, and Paul Lark. There were no additions or deletions to the agenda. There was no public comment. The agenda items, the courthouse radiators. Paul Lark gave an update on why 2 radiators in the courthouse had sprung a leak. The parts are old and rusty. A discussion took place over being proactive or waiting for another leak. All radiators would have to be drained, and the summer would end. The summer would be the time to start the preventive maintenance project. It was moved by Commissioner Pastula, supported by Commissioner Kinsella, to start a preventive maintenance program on the courthouse radiators not to exceed $10,000 for the time being, using Paul Lark, and to waive the bidding process. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
I'll support.
Motion made by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Kinsella. Is there discussion?
Why did we go with Paul Lark without, and waive the bidding process? What's Paul got on us to, you know what I mean, what expertise does he bring to, I mean, there's a lot of heating and, you know, why would Paul be the guy?
Okay, Commissioner McLean or Commissioner Kinsella, whoever can answer better.
We talked about that quite a bit, Don, and part of the problem is we don't have the total task identified. And so to go to bid with a task that's unidentified is almost impossible. The Paul Lark has fixed 2 or 3 of them. Some of them may be fixed without extensive parts, and some may be require pretty extensive overhauls. It may mean there's a difference of 2 dissimilar metals that's causing the problem, and it promotes 2 dissimilar metals when liquid's involved is an it's in a sense, essence, a battery. So it causes corrosion of an unusual type. He's saying that in most cases it's best to just take everything out and put similar metal in there and eliminate that situation. So we thought, well, we have to, he knew the drill and he has the parts. And so, we thought we'd just go that way.
Commissioner McLean?
I guess that the main reason there that I look at is the difficulty identifying just what's involved in the process.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a sort of look at this one and then go look at the next one and see if that one is
I guess we haven't identified the task, and so we don't know what it entails. And I'm sure Paul's gonna charge time and material, cause that's what you do. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think you would survey it and identify the task and find out how many of these valves or whatever that you have to work on and how many, radiators and schedule it all out. And then you would know going into it. The contractor would know and we would know and it would make more sense. You're not going into it blindly. Then you start down that path again and away you go.
I guess I'm guessing what the problem is once you pull it out of service, you drain it, and you find out what's wrong with it, then that's when you fix it, because it's easier and efficient to fix it right then and there
Yes.
than it is to put it back in place and say, okay, that one's gonna need to be fixed later. So I think that's the problem, and I'm guessing Paul Lark has had the experience of working on these units and has been working on them for us as we have had problems, and they want to just, and again, I understand what you're saying, Don. I'm certainly in favor of going out for bids and that sort of thing, but I think we got a guy that's been working on these, and we want him to just do a lot more work and get it all fixed, and it makes sense. So, anyone else? Administrator German?
I just want to note that the total price of the project, we said 10,000 as a preventative price, but by the time everything is done, depending on where they're buried at in the ceilings and how many need to be totally refitted and some parts need to be refitted, we would come back to the commission to ask for more, but it may well exceed $10,000.
Okay.
But this motion is to not exceed 10. So the first, you're gonna give him 10 grand to start with and then get ready, cause he's gonna pick your pockets.
Well, wow, I don't think that's fair.
Okay.
I don't think that's
characterization.
appropriate, Don. I don't think that's appropriate at all.
I don't think it's appropriate to do this either.
Okay, well, then you're gonna get a chance to voice that here in a moment. Anyone else? We have the motion on the floor before us. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay.
Nay.
Motion passes with one nay.
Okay, county phones. Deputy Church explained various problems with the phone system, including a fire in the processor, voicemails going down, and parts that are not supported anymore. A new system or refurbished system could run between $40,000 and $60,000. Dave Petrangelo sent a letter about options, saying that he would like to link the systems at the Chippewa County Health Department and the county. Mr. Petrangelo will be at the next meeting to discuss options. The county would continue to use Avaya.
Yep.
Thank you. For various reasons, no action was taken. Circuit Court fans. The fans that were put into the budget for Circuit Court were discussed. A discussion took place on them being not necessary with all the other maintenance issues the courthouse was having. Circuit Court staff would be invited to the next meeting to discuss the situation. No action was taken. The shredding project. It was noted that the county offices would be doing a mass shredding project, which would include several years of old tax rolls that are currently being stored in the attic. Chairman McLean complimented the Treasurer's Department for their work in this area. And there was no action taken at this point. But I would like to mention that that was something that was identified a time back, and it was quite a project to do that, and because other people had ignored that type of thing over the years, but our clerk took the initiative and her staff and went about taking care of it. We're now going to get some of those pounds and pounds of papers out of the attic. Okay, then we'll move on. Chairman comments. Chairman McLean said that it had been a very productive meeting, and it was a fairly long meeting talking about the radiators. It was moved by Commissioner Pastula, seconded by Commissioner McLean, it should be Commissioner Kinsella, to adjourn the meeting on a voice vote. The motion carried, and I would ask for acceptance of these minutes of the committee.
I'll move that.
Motion made by Commissioner McLean, supported by Commissioner Kinsella, that the April 30th, 2014 minutes of Building Grounds, Jail, Legislative, Natural Resources, and IT Committee be accepted. Any discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. Last standing committee report is Finance, Claims, and Accounts. Commissioner Cooper.
A regular meeting of the Finance Claims and Accounts was held Thursday, May 8th. We held the meeting order at 4:10 with a quorum present. I was there, Scott and Ted, George and Don were absent. Under Sheriff Bittner, Margie Hank, Jim German, and Kelly Church were also present. We approved the agenda as submitted. There was no public comment. Committee received the monthly treasurer's report, the monthly travel report, the April Visa billing statement for review, and MERS first quarter report on the retiree health fund vehicle. Discussion on the use of the administration credit card followed, and obtained a MERS report specific to the county's investment. Agenda items. 2011-2012 Operation Stone Garden allocations. Tim McKee forwarded a letter regarding Operation Stone Garden grants in the amount of $129,757. $129,757 to be approved. It was moved by Commissioner Pastula, supported by Commissioner Shackleton, to approve the expenditures as follows. $52,770 for wages and fringes to cover law enforcement overtime, $13,322 for fuel and maintenance costs for patrol units, $6,000 to EUP Regional Planning to produce maps and obtain tactical data for geography and topical data of the borders area, $5,240 to purchase from Motorola Solutions 85 batteries for portable radios, and $33,352.50 to purchase 10 Motorola Apex 6000 portable radios. The pricing has been approved by the state and FEMA following the allowable cost justification. The bids were sought for the 10 portable radios. On a voice vote, the motion carries, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner McLean.
No, it's Kinsella.
Pardon me, Kinsella?
Yeah, sorry.
Kinsella supported the motion. And the motion is on the floor before us. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Trident Task Force, the committee reviewed various information to establish, fund, and approve expenditures for the Trident Task Force, as well as information to establish the wages for the position. Discussion also included withdrawing from the same grant and same interlocal agreement. Fund 273 will be established with revenue from both the general fund and commissary, totaling $80,500, which will be the unused portion of Department 340, which was the same grant, right, Kelly? And changing the allocation to Department 310, and transfer from the commissary. Expenditures of $38,000 for wages, $25,000 for fringes, and $17,500 for equipment will be set up, totaling $80,500. This change will cost the general fund approximately an additional $4,500 for fiscal year 2014. The committee also reviewed two expenditures to approve the purchase of a vehicle and a miter system to be used by the task force. The committee was asked to waive the bidding policy for the vehicle purchase. It's moved by Commissioner Pastula, supported by Commissioner Shackleton, to approve the establishment of Fund 273, Trident Task Force 1. On a Trident Task Force, on a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner McLean. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
It was moved by Commissioner Shackleton, supported by Commissioner Pastula, to approve the purchase of a vehicle from O'Connor's for a price not to exceed $12,000 and the purchase of a miter system from Team Intelligence Equipment for a price not to exceed $3,515 and to waive the county bidding policy. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
I'll support for discussion.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Kinsella. Is there discussion? Commissioner Kinsella.
I just, I'm noting here's, some more waiving of the county's bidding policy coming out of your committee there, Mr. Cooper.
And the reason, George, is this is a Trident task force. This is an undercover operation. I don't wanna say dark ops or black ops, but you certainly don't wanna, if you have a vehicle that you're gonna use for surveillance, you don't wanna advertise that I have a Jeep Wrangler and the color and the specifications. You don't wanna have that out there for in case anybody wants to pick up on it. I don't know if they're that bright of a person, but clearly some stuff does have to be kept under wraps a bit. So, for the good and the safety of our task force members, I think it's prudent that we not advertise what we're buying out there.
All right. Any other discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
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 Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
It was moved by Commissioner Pastula, supported by Commissioner Shackleton, to transfer our current SANE officer from the SANE grant effective June 8, 2014 to the Trident Task Force and to notify Emmett County by written notice. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner McLean. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
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 Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Moved by Commissioner Shackleton, supported by Commissioner Pastula, to withdraw from the SANE interlocal agreement effective June 8, 2014 by providing written notice to each of the participating entities. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
I'll support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Kinsella. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
It was moved by Commissioner Shackleton, supported by Commissioner Pastula, to approve the wages for the Trident deputy as a detective position. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner McLean. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
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 Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Updated county credit card authorization and issuance resolution. The committee reviewed the updated resolution 1409, which will replace 96-4. Authorize the issuance and use of the county credit cards to select county officers and employees. No action was taken, and the resolution will be handled soon. The committee reviewed a request from the health department for Shane Albrecht to attend the 2014 National Strategic Stockpile Preparedness Course in Anston, Alabama. Attendance and expenditures will be used only if Mr. Albrecht is accepted in the course. If accepted, the CDC will cover all travel costs, lodging, and per diem. It's moved by Commissioner Pastula, supported by Commissioner Shackleton, to approve the out-of-state travel for Shane Albrecht to attend the 2014 National Strategic Stockpile Preparedness Course in Anston, Alabama. If he is accepted into the course, with all costs being paid for by the CDC. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner McLean. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
The committee reviewed the health department job position description for the bookkeeper, general clerk, general ledger clerk. The discussion and the possible consolidation of this administrative position through attrition with the county via centralized accounting was discussed. It was moved by Commissioner Shackleton, supported by Commissioner Pastula, to ask the Board of Health to hold up the hiring in this position and explore consolidations of the positions with the county. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
I'll support that.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Kinsella. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
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 Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
The committee reviewed the most recent bi-monthly billing for the City of Sault Ste. Marie Police Department's auxiliary services for building security and discussed cancellation of the services as a cost-saving measure. It was was moved by Commissioner Pastula, supported by Commissioner Shackleton, to cancel the building security services with the City of Sault Ste. Marie Auxiliary Unit. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner McLean. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Desktop computer bid summary, the committee reviewed bid summary for purchase of 17 desktop computers as well as the approved budget for desktop computers purchased for fiscal year 2014. Discussion included the reference checks and reducing the number of computers to purchase in order to follow the budget. By ordering only 15 desktop computers, it will only exceed the budgeted amount by $38.99. It was moved by Scott, supported by Ted, to approve the purchase of 15 desktop computers from Global Government Ed Solutions at a cost not to exceed $13,366.50. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner McLean. Is there discussion?
I have a question.
Commissioner McLean.
We had originally planned on, about 17. Has the price gone up that much that we could only afford 15 is, I guess, what I'm looking for.
There was a
Appears
couple-
based on our bids, right?
There were a couple other purchases that were mixed in there. We had 25,000 set aside, and then they had, and I don't have my packet in front of me, but Kelly, you might wanna let us know.
There were already 10 purchased, and then there was a tablet that needed to be purchased for probate court. And then, with these 17, the cost of the processor, I believe, has been more than last year, correct, Jamie?
That, and a little bit more memory.
And they added memory, so that's why we're off by the 2 computers.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
And, you know, just keep within the budget, the confines of the budget. Show a little bit of discipline. Scott made the motion that we went by 15 instead of the 17.
I guess my point being, I was looking if the individual computers had gone up that much, but I see there's other things that have happened, so.
Yeah, but these are, if I'm assuming that these 15 computers and this price tag are the only things included, that's $891 per computer. And, that's not cheap, but it seems like they aren't cheap when you, buy them for, maybe it's not so bad, $890. Does that include monitors, I hope?
No,
Wow, it still seems high to me.
it's Microsoft Office, which is like.
Microsoft Office is expensive, yes it is. All right, but we have a motion before us. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
The committee received and reviewed the bid summary for elevator maintenance contracts to include 4 county elevators, 3 with current expiration date of August 1st, 2014, and 1 expiring April 2015. The maintenance contracts will cover the quarterly and annual fire service tests and the 3-year hydraulic load test. It's moved by Scott, supported by Ted, to approve the elevator service contract bid from Otis Elevator Company for the first year, the amount of $5,368.80 with a 4% annual cap and a 3% annual savings if paid annually. With the service technician based out of St. Nicholas, on a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Kinsella. Is there discussion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
The committee reviewed a RFQ for copier machine purchase for the prosecutor's office, which is in accordance with the purchasing rotation of the county copiers. It's moved by Ted, supported by Scott, to approve and release the copy machine RFQ for the prosecutor's office. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner McLean. Is there discussion on the motion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Claims and accounts. The committee reviewed the bills and payroll presented for approval. It was moved by Commissioner Shackleton, supported by Commissioner Pastula, to recommend the approval of the general claims totaling $449,767.03. Other fund claims, $4,009,209.01. Payroll of $444,101.64, and health department claims of $434,000. total claims of $5,337,918.84. Vouchers H1 through H442. On a voice vote, the motion carried, and I would so move.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner McLean. Is there discussion?
I'd just like to point out that of that 4 million, or that huge number, about almost 3.6 million were used to buy up the back taxes. When we talk about the DTRF, we have to have money in there to buy these taxes back from these governmental units, and that's what the bulk of this was all about. So all them units out there got paid in full, and the county has that money. Now the delinquent taxes will come back to the county.
Thank you.
All in favor of the motion, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
We had a few budget adjustments to review. Moved by Commissioner Casula, supported by Commissioner Shackleton, to approve the budget amendments as follows. See them in your deal, I'm not gonna go over them. One of the big ones that's gonna jump out at you is the $544,000, and that was the library millage that we passed last year, and it should have never been budgeted through the county because it goes to the district, the library district. And the other stuff was to establish the Triton task force. So I'd move for the approval of these budget adjustments.
I'll support that.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner Kinsella. Is there discussion?
I have just a
Go
quick one. What is the payoff City of Sault Ste. Marie 2013 funding? Can somebody explain that? Transfer from Fund 377.
We co-signed basically for a bond issue for the city.
Oh,
We do it
okay, I
for Superior
remember that.
Township, and we paid them off. We took the bonds out, paid it off. Right, Kelly? We did a refinancing of that.
You recall
A
that?
refinancing of that project.
Okay.
So that was all. But we talked about that at the committee meeting that you missed, George. But
Yeah, I remember it when we did it a couple,
Yeah.
3 years ago now.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
I don't think we have a motion there yet, do we?
Oh, I move.
Is there a motion? What is the motion?
Yeah, he had made it.
Okay.
I support it.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought we voted on the budget adjustments. Is there any further discussion on the budget adjustments? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries.
Committee reviewed the tentative fiscal year 2015 budget schedule and meeting notice for the audit presentation on Thursday, May 15th at 4 p.m. in the jury room. We also discussed the courthouse annex event, governor's declaration of disaster, and how this meeting will be Monday at 2 p.m. No other business came before the thing, so we adjourned at 5 p.m. Move to the acceptance of this report.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner McLean, that the minutes of Finance Claims and Accounts Committee for the date of May 8th, 2014 be accepted. Is there discussion on that motion? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. We go to new business. Let's see, we have support and authorized tax allocation board proposed ballot. That is on page 38 of our packet. Administrator German, what's this about, please?
The tax allocation board is actually run by, I believe, the county clerk and Ms. Hank, so she'd probably give you a better idea.
Okay, I guess I'd call, I'd ask Margie Hank, to give us a brief explanation, really quick. We usually don't do that here. Can you, I'm sorry, can you maybe just stand up and come forward so your fans at home would be able to hear you and see you?
Good afternoon.
Aye.
The tax allocation board met. It's what we do every 4 years to determine the millage that we will charge between the county, all the county millages, the ISD, and the townships. And we determine we will not exceed the 8 mills allotted, and we determine how it's split up to each unit of government. And so
Okay.
we're asking that the board approve this 8 mil.
And I presume this is a hoop that the state requires us to jump through on.
Right.
When the
predetermined.
committee convened, you can see the representatives.
Yeah.
And we sat down and we said, this is how we've done continue on as we have. If this doesn't pass, this will go on the ballot. If it doesn't pass as a peg millage, every year that committee will have to convene and make this. This way, if we do it, like Margie says, every 4 years, you throw it on the ballot, it passes, everybody's gold.
Okay,
And that way there's no increase either
all
in
right,
the next 4 years.
But the maximum, I'm sorry,
go ahead.
the maximum is 8 anyway, right? Can't,
Right, but we've
Okay.
determined how it's
how it
also
distributes.
allocated to each unit.
Okay.
All right. We don't have a motion on this yet, but anybody,
I
Care
move that
to-
we accept this post-ballot language, tax allocation for
Support.
motion made by Commissioner Cooper, supported by Commissioner McLean. Thank you, Treasurer Hank. Is there any further discussion on the proposed ballot? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. We move to Resolution 1409. This is the issuance, this is the credit card policy for the county. And I think, would anybody like to make the resolution, and then we can?
I'll motion that.
Okay.
Support.
Okay, I hear Commissioner Kinsella made the motion. It was supported by Commissioner McLean. Now is there discussion?
All we did here was updated it. We looked at the last one that was done in '96. Of course, they talked about a controller and the dollar amount was higher than that. So Kelly updated some language in it and we put it at $5,000 for a one-time expenditure.
Okay, thank you. And again, I wanted to point out and had clarified at the finance meeting that this is not authorizing new credit cards, and we continue to have a very, very tight rein and limited use of credit cards. And the expenditures are itemized and each one reviewed every month by the county commission. So we're pretty tight on credit card use, but sometimes you just need one. Is there any further discussion? This is a resolution, so we need a roll call vote.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Commissioner Kinsella?
Yes.
Commissioner McLean?
Yes.
Chairman Shackleton?
Yes. So the resolution passes. We have another resolution. This is the Chippewa County Resolution supporting the Hazard Mitigation Plan, Resolution 1410.
I'd move approval of Resolution 1410, Chippewa County Resolution supporting hazard mitigation plan.
I'll support that.
Commissioner McLean made the motion. It was supported by Commissioner Kinsella. Did anybody want to discuss this resolution? The clerk, please take a roll call vote.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yes.
Commissioner Kinsella?
Yes.
Commissioner McLean?
Yes.
And Chairman Shackleton?
Yes, and that passes as well. Our last item of business, second to last, would be commissioner comments. If there's anyone that has something they need to bring up at this time.
I got something. I just like to thank all the folks from Whitefish Township that came today, and I hope they have a safe journey home and they get there before it turns dark. So,
Thank you, Commissioner Cooper. Anyone else?
Just want to express my appreciation for Commissioner Cooper's humor as usual.
Yeah, well, yes indeed. Would anybody care to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll motion that.
There you go.
Support.
Motion made by Commissioner Kinsella, supported by Commissioner McLean. Is there discussion on the motion? None. All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned.
I should have said, Donnie, I should have said attempted humor.
I entertained myself.